98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.
One of our listeners has contacted us in just the last hour through our Facebook page at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Now, literally contacted us in the last hour to tell us about a story of something that has happened to him in a housing estate in West Dublin that he has lived in for the last 8 years. And this is food for thought for anybody who lives in an estate with children. The reaction that some people can have if you're nice to those kids. Mario, welcome to 98FM.
Yeah, hello. First time on the radio, so I'm a bit shy.
You're very welcome, and thanks very much indeed for contacting us. Mario, tell me your story. You were recently attacked by a neighbour. For what?
Yes. Okay, the exact story was that about 2 days ago, it was still warm, very warm. My neighbour's daughter, she's playing with two other kids, 7 and 9 years old. And I have two cats at home, and sometimes the girls ask me if they can play with my two cats. So I obviously let them play with my cats. I have, toys so they can play with the cats. And recently, they were playing with my cats and they were asking if they can have some water or if they can have some bananas. I had bananas on the table. So I obviously gave them some bananas. I gave them some water. And a few hours, well, not a few hours, but maybe half an hour after, when they left, immediately neighbor came over and attacked me. I shouldn't give the kids food. Those kids are not mine kids. I was shocked at first. And then I also had like those comments that you shouldn't play with little girls because you look like a pedophile. My response was I was speechless at first, and angry at the same time because I didn't expect that at all.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm 34.
Okay.
I'm unemployed at the moment, so I mind sometimes my other neighbor's kid who is 2 and my brother's kid who is 4. Okay,
and
obviously when you live for 8 years in a state, you get to know neighbor's kids.
Okay, and neighbors trust you enough that you mind their children. Are you a single man?
No, I have a girlfriend. She's full-time working.
Okay, and do you have children of your own?
No, we recently lost actually our baby this year, so...
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay. But, so your girlfriend is working. You, to try and earn a few bob, what did you say, your brother's children?
My brother's kid who is 4, I minded him, and then my neighbor's kid who is 2.
Okay.
Just to help them out a little bit, because they're both working, and it's tough sometimes with kids.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, yeah. So, you're trusted enough by these people, your brother and your neighbour, to mind their children. But let me go back to the story about you have cats. Is that what you said? Yeah.
I have 2 cats. Yes.
You have 2 cats, and you allow the neighbour's daughter and friends to come over and play with the cats.
Yes, and sometimes we play. We make games. Sometimes because I like myself. I like gymnastics and I like sports.
Okay.
Now, like handstands and stuff like that. So we just play together, like just make games and stuff. Just hanging around.
Okay. Now, when you say you allow the kids in the neighbourhood to play with the cats, are you talking about in your front garden? Are you talking about inside the house, or what?
In my back garden.
In your back garden?
I don't like to leave the cats in the front because I lost last year my cat in the front on the street.
Okay, right. So,
but my neighbors knew about this because his daughter was playing already in my garden, so they already knew that her daughter was here. And I also told the other kids that they should let their parents know where they are.
Okay, so you allowed the other day you allowed your neighbour's daughter, and I assume you know your neighbour's daughter quite well. Is that right?
Yes, okay, of course. Yeah. Like when the door is open, they can come sometimes in. Basically, I don't mind really. If they don't make a mess, I don't really mind. Like the estate, people, like all the kids, they play outside anyway all the time.
Yes, of course, yeah. And you will allow the kids to come in through the house, out to the back garden, and play with the cats.
Yeah, so, that's no problem for me. As long as they don't make any mess and they behave, of course I will.
And you sometimes play games with the kids as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
to keep them busy, basically, so they don't get any stupid ideas.
okay, so the other day, your neighbour's daughter and two of her friends that were aged 7 and 9 came over to play with the cats. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, now these two other children, the 7 and 9-year-olds, do you know them?
Yes.
Would you know them well?
Yes.
And
I know them really well. Yeah,
Okay.
I know their names, but I don't want to mention them.
No,
names.
of course not.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
And these two girls were with your neighbour's daughter. They came over to the house.
The neighbour's daughter lives just beside me,
Yes, okay.
just over the fence. Yeah.
And they came into the house or out the back garden. And what were they doing in the back garden? Describe to me exactly what was going on.
Playing with the cats. After they were asking me if they can have some yoga mats to do like some handstands and do some rolls and do some barrel wheels and stuff like this. They were splashing themselves a little bit with water because it was hot on this day. Just regular children stuff.
Okay, and then the girls asked for.
They saw that first they asked for water because they were playing, so they asked if I can give them some water.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them some water, and then they asked if they can have some bananas because they saw some bananas lying. So I gave them some bananas. I gave them some chips as well and some Haribo gummy bears.
Okay, so you gave them bananas and some sweets and some chips.
Yeah.
Just being nice.
Just being nice. Yeah, I was brought up like this. I never saw this as a problem. It was the first time that somebody actually attacked me.
Okay, so after the girls left your house, this was on Saturday. Is that right?
I'm not exactly sure what day it was, to be honest.
Well, was it 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Yeah, it was. It could have been a Saturday. It was. I know it was still warm on this day. It was still like.
Okay, so Saturday was a very warm day, so it might well have been Saturday. Okay, now after the girls left, what happened then?
The father came in. Well, actually, over the fence. He met me because I met him over the fence. Started shouting at me, "You shouldn't give them kids any food. Any food. It's not your job to give them food. They have parents. They should give them food."
Okay, so this is your direct neighbour said this to you over the back fence?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
He said you shouldn't give the children any food. It's not your responsibility.
No,
Fair
it's
enough.
not your responsibility. They might have allergies. They might get food poisoning and stuff like that.
Okay, now it sounds plausible.
In terms of allergy, I can really understand. Yeah,
Okay.
I should have asked maybe if they have some allergies,
But it got worse than that.
It got worse than that because then he mentioned after that it might look like I'm like a pedophile playing with those kids.
And this is your direct neighbour that you get on very well with, and she.
Yes.
And your neighbour.
Not very well because like stuff like this when somebody is telling me stuff like this, it really makes me sad and angry at the same time.
No, I understand that. But up until that point, a neighbour that you get on with very well, is that right?
Yep.
But on Saturday, after having the girls, all girls, were they?
They were all girls, yes.
3 girls, okay.
Yes.
After having these girls in your house, letting you play with the cats, playing with water, you gave them some Haribos and you gave them some bananas and some chips.
Yep.
You were given out to by the neighbour saying you shouldn't be feeding the kids, and then went as far as to say that you might be accused of being a paedophile.
Yes.
Wow. And your argument on this is you get to know the kids and the neighbours really well, and it makes you sad that we live in times where people even consider something like that.
Yes, it really does, especially when you live for such a long time in the neighborhood and you know the people around you. Hearing such stuff I know there is bad stuff in the world and we should be aware, but to get to the point where we're not allowed or can't play with other children because we can get accused, I think it's a little bit too far.
Do me a favour, stay there for 1 second, Mario, please. Now, I'm not going to put calls up against Mario to rip the head off him or whatever, but I'd like you to text your comments to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Who's in the wrong here? A guy who, is being just friendly by the sounds of it. Knows the kids really well, lets them play with the cats, gives them a few Haribos, gives them some chips, and then gets told you shouldn't be feeding the kids, they could have allergies, and it might look like you're a paedophile. I'd love to hear from you. Text or WhatsApp your opinion right now to 0877 98 98 98. His big argument here is, it makes me sad that we live in times where people even consider something like that. And I know, Mario, one of the points you were making is that's the way you were brought up, that you're friendly to kids, or adults when you were younger would have been friendly to you. Not that it makes much difference, but where did you grow up?
Well, I'm 34, so part of my life I spent in Poland, part of my life I spent in Germany, and part of my life I spent in Ireland. So 1/3 actually each. It kind of works out 1/3 each. I grew up in every single of those three countries.
Okay, but most recently here in Ireland.
Most recently here in Ireland, yes,
okay.
Since 2005.
And up until that point that neighbour said that to you, had that neighbour or any neighbour ever said anything to you in the past?
No, never.
And would the parents have been aware that the neighbour's daughter was in with you and playing with the cats and all that?
Yes, they see me, because the house with the other two girls is just on the opposite side. So the mother and the dad, they see me so many times, and they see me playing, like sometimes in front we also like make.
Okay, let me read some comments, and I'd like to hear what you say about these, okay?
Yeah.
He should have more sense, really. He may mean well, but it's not feasible nowadays to embrace children into your world. What do you say to that? Is that saddening you as well?
I don't know how to respond to that. To have more sense. It's me. That's how I am. That's how I was brought up. And I don't really, like as the person already mentioned, I don't mean to do any harm. But if, say, the other parents will come over to my house and tell me, stop doing that, I will stop. Of course, immediately I will stop. If somebody is not happy with that, I will not do that. I will not do anything again.
After what happened on Saturday, what will you do going forward? Will you just say to the kids, no, you can't come in here anymore?
That's what I did for now.
Okay, that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah, that's what, for now, until it's resolved, because I don't want to have any troubles, to be honest.
Of course not. Yeah. And you sound like a genuine guy. It sounds like you meant well, no harm intended.
I said even to my girlfriend, because she's on holiday now, I said to my girlfriend, listen, when you're at home, when we both at home, so she's a woman, when we both at home, we can let them in. But when I'm alone on my own, I won't let them in at all.
It's a no-no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to do that, because.
Okay, let me read another message. No, I understand why you have to. And I mean, somebody is saying adults should not play with children. Full stop. I find that quite wrong. I had my wife's nephew staying with us last week. Okay, and the young fella is 8. And I had great fun playing with him last week. Does that make me a weirdo? He's not directly related to me. He's my wife's nephew. Does that make me weird because I enjoyed playing with him?
Not at all.
No, I don't think so. No. To be quite honest, says this message, to have young kids out Mario's back garden and him having no kids, it comes across a bit dodgy. Maybe he's a really genuine guy, but personally myself, I wouldn't allow my 9-year-old to do it. Says that message. But the point that he's making, and I get the point that you're making, Mario, when we were younger, we were all able to do that. It was no problem at all.
It was normal to go over to a different house and have some food.
Absolutely, yeah.
I even got to a stage where I could actually open somebody's fridge and get my
help yourself. Yeah. I think it's a little strange from my point of view. I'm a dad. I wouldn't let my son in the house. I understand he means well, but it's my pride and joy. I wouldn't trust anyone around my son, says that message. So the lesson from this, Mario, is that when your girlfriend is around, yes, maybe, but if you're there on your own, no.
No.
And that makes you sad.
It makes me sad and disappointed that we live in such times where we get so separated from each other. You know, I was brought out very close. my opinion is people should know each other, basically.
Okay, and one last message. At first I thought this was a little odd, then listening to him going on with his story, why is this an issue? He's being nice. The children feel safe and they like playing with his cats. Mario, I'm grateful to you for highlighting your story. I hope it doesn't lead to any grief for you, any further grief for you with the neighbours. But I think, and sadly, the times we live in, I think you've made the right decision that if your girlfriend's not in the house, then nor are the kids.
Yes.
And I wish you well, and I thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. There you go. That's Mario. He lives out in West Dublin. And you judge yourself. You make your own decisions, having heard his full story.
98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.